press conference for the Misfits Series 004 just wrapped, and man, do we have some new info. Will there be some upsets on the night? Well, let's talk about it. First up on the press conference list, we have Anthony Taylor going against Idris Virgo. Now, we knew there'd be some fireworks between these two because, of course, AT is a showman, and Virgo is a 12-0, potentially 13-0 established boxer.
Final 30 seconds. That's a great record.
Now, Anthony Taylor was quick to bring up Idris Virgo's lack of knockouts on his record. However, Virgo was quick to clap back and say, look, just because I only have 2 knockouts doesn't mean I'm not about to knock you out.
Diluted.
You have no track record.
Diluted.
You have no
Got 2
full
knockouts
thumbs.
on my record. And them 2 guys who came to fight me, what happened? I knocked them out. So if you're going to come and try and fight me, you're just going to get knocked out.
Now, one other interesting thing that was said during this is Anthony Taylor brought up the fact that he may or may not be fighting Floyd Mayweather in February.
You ain't that. And after I beat you up, I'm coming from Floyd Mayweather in February.
If this does happen, I can't believe this man has been able to talk his way into a big fight like that. Moving on down the card, we have Elle Brooke versus Faith Ordway. Interestingly enough, we found out from Faith how this fight actually came to be. Faith was looking for an opponent when Misfits reached out, and she just hit up Elle Brooke in the DM. Now, Faith does seem to have a bit of a height advantage here on Elle. However, don't be fooled because she was wearing heels on the stage. Now, Elle brought up a point that was kind of refuted both by Faith and Astrid Wet later, that she feels that she cannot be KO'd. Based off her last performance, she was hit, she was taking hits, and she was still able to come forward and do her thing. Now, this fight has 2 people that are definitely more experienced than they were in the past, but that doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to get a KO. That also doesn't mean you're not going to get KO'd. So Elle needs to be on her toes if she wants to avoid getting knocked out. Next fight on the list we got to talk about is Ryan Taylor versus Swarms. Now, a big reveal came out of this in the press conference, and it's that Ryan Taylor hasn't been taking this training as seriously as he has done training in the past. Apparently, he's been very busy with the holidays and doing some other things, so he hasn't given his full focus to the camp. Whereas Swarms, on the other hand, has been working hard, and it clearly shows both in the media workout yesterday and his confidence going into the press conference today. Now, one thing Ryan did say is he feels that Swarms doesn't actually spar against talented individuals. No one has ever really challenged him in camp, so he feels like his lack of training shouldn't really matter.
Hey, did he bleed in sparring? Where's his coaches? Did he bleed in sparring?
Tell you what. The guys.
You never bled in sparring and you think you're a boxer.
Storms the Madman, on the other hand, has come out with a statement saying he believes he will knock out Ryan Taylor within 2 rounds.
Swarm's prediction? Second round, me.
If this happens, Swarms is setting himself up for some pretty big fights in the future. Next on the list might be the fight of the night, in my opinion, and that is Salt Poppy versus Josh Bruckner. Now, Salt Poppy is an interesting character. While he's had great performances in his last 2 fights, he hasn't been fighting really high-level competition. Now, Josh Bruckner, though, is said high-level competition. Now, the one thing Salt Poppy did mention is that he isn't showing the full picture. He's hiding a lot of information back. He's not going to show it in sparring footage or the weekly videos he's been putting out through camp, or even in the media workout. I believe we're in for a special surprise coming Saturday for this fight. Despite Salt Poppy's confidence going into the weekend, Josh feels the same way. Josh Bruckner believes that everybody that Salt Poppy has gone up to has been garbage cans, and that realistically he has a big advantage going into this. Josh Bruckner has brought up that Salt Poppy's competition up until this point hasn't really been much. So Josh confidently believes, that he's going to go in Saturday and he's going to wipe the floor with Salt Poppy.
Everybody says he's the best.
Yeah, I think Salt Poppy's good. Obviously, at scale, he's been fighting for a long time, but I don't think he's been tested in the ring, as you can see from watching his fights. So on Saturday, we're going to test how good he really is.
Now, one interesting little comment towards the end of this press conference between the 2 of them was that Josh said he believes that either Salt Poppy or himself deserve the next shot at KSI. It'll be interesting to see if KSI goes in that route. I know he's kind of wanted to go towards the Tyron Woodleys, following the footsteps of Jake, so he can get to that level of Jake. But I'd be excited to see either one of them fight KSI. Now let's cover the co-main event. Slim versus Tom Zanetti. Going into this week, I was confidently saying Slim's probably going to walk away with this. It's not going to be anything. But man, after the media workout yesterday and the press conference today, I don't know what to believe. Slim instantly coming out into the press conference saying we're going to be expecting some big fireworks for the weekend, and I wouldn't be surprised. Slim did come out and say, hey, look, I respect Tom Zanetti as a fighter. I respect his power, but it's not going to be enough to beat up Slim. Tom did quickly refute this though, because of comments that his trainer made apparently in some video recently.
You said that I've got skill now, and what was it, 2 weeks ago your coach was saying that I've got no skill. He could tell by how I dance around in the ring that I've got no skill. That's what he was saying, your coach, bro.
Oh, that was my coach. My coach.
And I was seeing yesterday, and your face was like that.
Saddam, most of us, to Saddam, someone who's a world champion, Olympian, most of us on the stage don't got much skill compared to Saddam. He's been fighting at the highest level, so a lot of us don't really got much skill to him. But to me, I see you got some skill in this scene. I think you will get a lot of people in this scene trouble, but you won't give Slim much
there's a lot of trouble,
baby.
bro.
Slim was quick to say, look, I'm not my trainer. I respect you, and I look forward to taking you on Saturday. Now, one comment in the back and forth really stood out to me, and it's that Tom Zanetti believes that Faye's temper is actually more technically skilled than Slim. Whether or not that got under Slim's skin, we'll see, but now it's time for the main event. Right off the rip, they both walk up to the podium, and they're kind of matching. Temper walking up in all black, KSI walking up in all white, kind of the best of good versus evil per se. Either way, it was kind of cool to see that. Apparently it was unintended, but come on. KSI immediately claims that he understands that Temper, a better opponent than who he had in Dylan Dennis going up into this weekend, but he still believes strongly that he's going to be able to walk through him like he has his other opponents. Now, Temper brings up some good points too. While he understands it's his hardest fight yet, he also realizes some of the weaknesses that KSI has. One of the ones he mentioned in the press conference is how heavy-footed KSI is. KSI's footwork has always been one of his weaker points, so for Temper to acknowledge that means they're really studying what's going on. Temper also seems to understand that KSI's game plan is to just walk forward and try to go through him as quickly as possible. Despite KSI saying in the press conference that he's going to take him out in one round, Temper feels pretty confident in his game plan to counteract the way that KSI is going to approach him. As we've seen in the past, Temper is pretty good on the back foot, so as long as he can control the distance with the jab, Temper might have a shot at this. Now, Temper didn't really make a prediction of when this fight would end or how it would go, but KSI is saying he plans on ending him in one round. Bold statement here from KSI, but we won't know what happens until Saturday hits.